Welcome everyone to another RGL cast. My name is Jared. I'm here with TC Mono to bring you guys the Cell vs Franzj presents. This is RGL Invite 6's Season 17, Week 8B, and only so many matches are left remaining this season. Franzj, they're trying their hardest to maintain their second seed position against G6, and collecting a good result here will definitely help solidify that to make sure they have the advantage in the pick ban versus whoever their opponent come playoffs might be. The Cell, I mean, after a hard fought but ultimately a loss last night versus G6, their playoff dreams are looking pretty dire. In fact, they've pretty much entered the territory where maybe it's technically possible if you crunch the numbers, but it requires the stars aligning so far, and that's before you even crunch the numbers on the round win percentage on a tiebreak scenario, that they've pretty much, like, realistically, I don't think people really expect them to be there. But like most teams, when you're in this situation where things look dire but you don't actually know the math quite yet, chances are you just don't bother doing the math and to not sully your morale and just give it your all anyway and leave it all in the server. And I honestly expect nothing less from the Cell tonight. So overall, I'm expecting a really nice game on the map tonight of Sultry.
Yeah, so am I. It should be still very, very exciting to see because of the Cell, even though, like you said, they did lose against like a G6. It was a very, very close game. It's probably the closest performance. And I think maybe one of the strongest performances that we've seen from the Cell, barring their win earlier against Jiminy. And it really is unfortunate because if they were this strong earlier in this season, we could be looking at a completely different playoffs rate. But, you know, this is a position that they're in. And while, like you said, it is possible for them to make it there, it's not too likely. It's really out of their control. They have to just prey on Jiminy's downfall, for better or for worse. And, you know, until then, they can really just bide their times and win this match, because preying on Jiminy's downfall only makes sense if they're able to take this win against Franzj, who have looked really, really good this season and kind of in position to be the second best team, something that a lot of people would have assumed would have been either Franzj or like a G6, whoever you would have been backing to come out on the top of that little scuffle. But it seems like it is Franzj. They've been able to get 2 wins against like a G6 in this season, haven't been able to get any against Franzj, but then again, no one has, and they've been kind of going back and forth against Jiminy. So maybe a win here from the Cell would at the very least put Franzj's chances of getting that second seed into question.
Yep. Like I said, I think it's mostly, I mean, even then, that race for them trying to keep their second seed, there's still a lot of other matches that are coming into play as well. But this a win here is definitely, they probably expect it for the most part. They're definitely not the underdogs based on their achievements they've had so far this season. And if you're a little bit new and not sure about the rosters, you'll be able to see them right now. As for the side of Franzj Presents, we have Yum Yum and Exile on Scout, Zam and Donovan on Soldier, Sam on Demo, and Lolgai on Medic.
Then over on the Cell, it's going to be Raven and Soar on Scout, High Five and Greg on Soldier, Dingo on Demo, and then Jae Hyunpei on Medic. And a lot of kind of new and older players on that team, which has made it so interesting to watch, and so unfortunate that it seems like they're going to be barely missing playoffs. But, you know, this is kind of a matchup that, you know, at the beginning of a season, Jarrett, like you said, Franzj, they are not the underdogs here, but at the beginning of the season, I would have said they were. But this team, this squad, you know, they kind of said it was a friend team. They were just doing it to have a little bit of fun and play with the buddies. Lolgai doing it before the upcoming LAN, and then he's going to go back to like a G6. But they've been able to make some real waves here.
Yep, I think anytime anyone says, like, oh, you know, it's it's a friend team, like, anyone immediately just kind of writes them off no matter what the roster's looking like. Like, okay, yeah, you guys are good players, but are you actually grinding the game? Like, are you doing any reviews when things go wrong? Like, you know, stuff like that. How often are you scrimming? Are you, like, even scrimming 5 days a week? People kind of just, like, before you actually start to see them play, in your mind, you're like, oh, okay, well, I mean, it's good on paper, but paper only means so much. And then you actually see them play, it's like, oh no, they're even, with whatever they're doing, whatever they want to call themselves, they are most certainly a contender, and they've certainly shown it so far this season. You can take a look at the bans that we have that led us to the pick of Sultry. Immediately, a lot of the Scout jail maps are kind of taken out from the side of the Cell, taking out Metalworks, Gullywash, and Snakewater. And then seems like it's a bit of a Koth pattern with Franzj's bans, as well as taking out Processed, which has been a Cell favorite not only have they played a lot, but they've also had pretty good results so far, so kind of a no-brainer. So with only so many maps left in the pool, we go to Sultry, which honestly isn't really played that much. As the seasons go by, it sees more and more time, and people get more familiar with it. But so far, I think it's still pretty much considered a newer map and probably slightly more slower paced than a whole lot of maps in the pool. So, you know, when infinite overtime hits, if it does hit, who knows how long we'll be there, but we're certainly going to be on a wild ride tonight.
Yeah, we are going to be on a wild ride, and Franzj, they haven't had any match experience on this map, just quickly looking at what they've played previously. Vassell have, it was against Freyotech, and it was a pretty dominant win for Freyotech, 4-1 Vassell, able to get a round off of them, but not enough. But I guess while we have the time, I am going to press you for a prediction. We do have a little bit of a pause in the pregame, but regardless of that, who do you think is going to be able to take it away here, and by how much?
I love the idea of Vassell, like, pulling out the miracle for the rest of the 2 weeks of the season, where they collect this win in a convincing fashion, and then the matches they need to work out absolutely work out, and then it's like a dream scenario, especially because they're the one that picked this map. However, part of me wonders how much of Vassell's success has been due to process. Because, you know, some of a team's success is going to be based on their team, and some of it's going to be based on the map matchup. And they've played so much process, and all their matches they've been doing really well have been in process. So throwing them for a loop like this on a map where people aren't really like, you know, it's not like you pug Sultry every night. You know, there's still some small details that can throw you for a loop every now and then. It kind of makes me feel like that the expectation of Franzj coming away with the victory in like a 5-1 fashion is relatively normal. So that's where my head is at, honestly.
Yeah, Franzj 5-1, pretty good shout. I'm gonna say, I think Vassell can do maybe a little bit better, just because I'm thinking it is their map pick, and like you said, I mean, Franzj, they are a friend team. They've been doing very well, but they started as a friend team, whether they're gonna finish as that. Not that they won't be friends at the end of this, but just that they might be taking it a bit more seriously than your average friend team would. Kind of calls into question, how comfortable are they going for these kind of weirder maps? Do they want to do it? Sure, they have kind of weird tactics, having Donovan run spy and off timings and going for banner, things like that, but does that extend outside of kind of a staple map pool? I'm not sure. Because Vassell picked it, I'm going to give them a little bit more benefit of a doubt and say they're going to be able to take it 3-2. I think it's going to be slow if they are going to take it. It's going to be pretty back and forth. We're going to head into infinite overtime well before anyone is in position to win. So I think Vassell might be able to squeeze it out. But even then, a 3-2 game might not be enough to kind of secure them that playoff spot, even if Jiminy were to lose all the matches they need to lose to make that happen.
Right, because of the round win percentage. Because obviously, I don't want to do the math either, because I think it's more exciting if you don't actually know and you just see what happens whenever, you know, the season ends. But a close victory only nets them so much of a round win percentage gain that's kind of not what you need. Because their way to playoffs isn't going to likely be from having more wins. It's from the round win percentage. So like, you could win tonight and be like, yeah, we won, we're still in this, but it's like like if it's a 3-2 like you said, like that's cool, but also I don't know if that's enough. I guess we'll see. Like I said, I don't want to do the math. I think it's more fun that way. So we'll see what happens week 9, and then it'll be all revealed to us. But 2 tech pauses as soon as the game starts. Someone is lagging or something.
Yeah, that's not a great way to start the game. It seems like things have gone live once again, and I think it happened pretty much as soon as the game started. A third one. Hopefully this is just to get the player. Yeah, it might be someone crashing.
They're straight up, their game is crashing, and they're like unpausing to get him in the server, and then... Okay, Sam was lagging. So maybe it's not a crash. Usually when you see pauses like this, it's like you pause, and then you unpause and pause to like let him in the server. See, like that. You unpause and unpause it, or pause and unpause to let him in the server. Like,
yeah. Just
to get him in, and then you go from there. Yeah, to get that
sending client info in so they can load up. So hopefully Sam didn't crash. If you are Franzj, not the best, at least your demo. Could be worse. It could have been Lol Guy, which could be very disastrous depending on, you know, what position they're in. It seemed like it was pretty soon after the game actually started, so I guess we'll have to keep out some eyes here to see if we see Sam a little bit AFK maybe on the rollout.
I'm just gonna keep my cam on him the whole time. Like, I'll be bird's eye view, but it's gonna I'm making sure that he's in frame the whole time. But we are going live, so we'll see how those texts transpired. Like 3 or 4 separate ones while we were waiting for it to actually go live. So it was a pretty fast succession. But about to reach mid, both domains are going to arrive rolling out through cheese. And this is where one of the pauses was before the first stickies even flew out, but there's more to be coming. Dingo hit by an ornament. So far things look pretty normal. Some damage here and there, but no one actually committing too far yet. High Five taking a lot of damage, can't quite commit. Donovan jumping forward, trying to take Soar out of the picture, but not going to commit overall. Greg with some fades himself, almost on one of the scouts, but overall still no deaths, just a lot of hurt players. Trying to chase down Greg. They know he's weak. They will succeed in killing him, but Donovan will eventually die to fall damage. So overall 1-for-1 trade, and the positional disadvantage is too much for the Cell to handle. They're going to cut their losses back up, and so far, it didn't look like Sam did anything. Oh, he has 100 ping.
Yeah.
So he's just like, you know, he's trying his hardest to shoot his stickies across the map, but it's taken a sec for them to fly out.
It is, which can be so detrimental on Demoman, the only class really run in 6v6, so it doesn't have any hit scan available. Now, they have, that's where the final pause, I think, happened, and he is back in, and he's at a much... Oh, he did, he just crashed straight up, okay. But
yeah, he's rolling out.
Luckily, he is at a much more stable ping, and it's not really in the middle of a team fight. Franzj were able to win it, but neither medic did die, so it's just going to be a stalemate regardless.
Yep. Fun fact, double lock and load this match.
Oh, that is a fun fact.
Maybe not a fun fact for the other 10 players in the server, but it's definitely a fun fact for us. We'll see Zam messes up his final jump bombing in, so go ahead and back up and not commit. Donovan tried to do something in cheese, but also take a lot of damage and unable to really get through the doorway. So overall, the Cell are sitting pretty, able to successfully deny with minimal effort, and a lot of time bitten off the clock, not only for the unsuccessful sack, but they waited a bit, just a little bit, for Sam to go ahead and roll out and be there from the crash, but they're making some moves in cheese. Zam bombing in, getting some damage on the High Five, successfully makes it inside lobby, taking the pack, but Greg has rotated over, trying to lay down the hurt inside cheese, and actually their entire team that was inside that area is going to have to go ahead and back up because they don't have heals there anymore. They've rotated over towards the choke side, trying to make moves. Zam has brought 2 people over onto last. That's plenty of ample room for the blue team to begin to try their best to walk in. Donovan making space, but overall, they will not commit. And Zam, he will indeed die in the back lines, and their attempts at breaking this stalemate are all for naught. Even more time written off the clock. And I think since Greg went back to get that kill in the first place, he's not ready to counter immediately, so you're not going to see too much coming from this side of the Cell. Dingo's actually resupping to change his sticky launcher.
That's crazy.
And, yeah, we're back to deja vu, back to normal with 3 minutes written off the clock.
Yeah, so only a bit longer that the Cell have to hold out before going to a round reset, but we're probably going to see something from Franzj before that happens. They're not going to give up this position that they found themselves in, and that's going to be the soldiers bombing in. Zam going to be jumping around, trying to go into the force spawn, just mulching. So many damage coming out, but a no pick onto any of the Cell's players. It was looking really dicey for Jay there, but able to survive all the rockets. Now they're going to be able to push in through choke. That's going to be the soldiers bombing forward, making a lot of space. Low guy very far back. They do find one onto High Five, so they might be a little bit more confident to stay in here. Greg, super weak. It's going to have to back out and Soar, just barely getting out with his life. Exile on the chase. Not going to be able to get the kill. Raven peeling off for his scout, but really great defense from Franzj there. The Cell going for the counter sack, but not able to make it work.
Yeah, big respect to defending that 6v4. I think High Five went a bit too deep. I think they maybe wanted to just try up straight up push, but or at least go for like a delayed sack, but weren't able to really do too much there. Yum Yum with the distraction from his soldiers though, able to take down Soar and Dingo, and is behind. Greg in the choke, laying down the hurt on an Exile, get aired up, he's fine, but now someone has to go back and chase Yum Yum. He is going to be a thorn in their side, coming down the alleyway. It's just going to find Jay potentially, trying to fight Raven, is taken down, but so much room is gained from the side of Franzj. Uber exchange coming out with the right team, popping, running for it, just a singular scout, trying to lay on the damage, and it's not going to be enough. I mean, Exile, he got really weak there, but overall the Uber is not expended, and the post, Zam bombs in, gets Jay, gets Dingo, and there's really nothing left in the tank for the Cell. Raven was thinking about poking down the shutter and running at one of the players on the Franzj side, but will not be too lucky there. And with 10 seconds left on the clock, it is capped up in Franzj's favor, and they're moving towards last.
Yeah, they're just immediately getting through all of these choke points. Exile leading the charge. Sam alongside him. Seems like they might slow down just to wait and make sure they have all of their respawners. Sam, the final one, and it's going to be an opportunity for them to get all the buffs out. They have a lot of time. Jay only at 30%, so they don't need to rush it, and they're not going to now. They're going to be making their way in, using that little shield for cover. Now, the Uber comes in, launching Sam. They're going to take down the sentry gun. They're able to do that, and no kills just quite yet. I say that one onto Greg. A big bomb coming in from Donovan does get Jay. Excellent stuff there, but can they clean everyone else up? They have a lot of cap time, but not enough people to stick it out, and that is going to be a last hold for Vassell, but they did lose their medic. They're going to be at Uber to sat.
Yeah, Franzj was a bit separated in the post there, and Sam immediately fell and made it hard to go ahead and corner cap lane. Sticky's on top of it with a dead demo. So overall, I mean, they got a little bit of cap time and they killed Jay, which is very good, but they're going to go ahead and lose this cap here in second. They do have ad, worst case. They don't really have the health to, you know, definitively block this, but they're certainly going to try. Now, the red team are aware of the situation they're in. Got to be mindful of the ad. Greg tried to find something onto Zam and will not be so lucky. Barely escapes, by the way. All distraction for High Five to bomb in, trying to get damage on a wall guy and succeeds. I think one of the scouts ate the rocket and is flashed on a wall guy, so that ad is nil. 3 left alive for the side of Franzj. Not really in a position to do much except for Yum Yum, who's inside Frog right now, spotted by Dingo, will have to try to escape, but immediately going to chase down the 2 players. Eats a sticky, rocket from Greg, is a late death there as the full team from the cell are up and ready to go. Be mindful of Exile, though. He is in the back lines.
Exile going to be taking a 1v1 versus High Five. High Five confidently wins that, so this doesn't stop them from going in. However, Sam going in for a fadeaway bomb does a lot of damage, but not concentrated enough on any one player to get a kill, so it's going to be 2 down for Franzj. Vassell in a very good position. They've got Uber, and they've got player advantage as well. They're just going to be sending in their soldiers, making a little bit of space, but there's not much resistance from Franzj. We're just scrambling to get back onto last, and this is going to be a perfect opportunity for them to take this Uber and maybe get the first round.
Yeah, going in. Unable to really corner cap quite yet, but there's still damage galore. Bomb comes in from Zam a bit early. Might take some damage himself. He's not too careful, but the heavy is on the field. Yum Yum trying to put them in a little box on the side of the cell. Air shot from Zam on to Greg. High Five taken down as well. There's no stickies available for the side of the blue team, but it does not matter. It's just Dingo and Jay left alive. Dingo, not long for this world, will most certainly get pistoled down by Exile, and Jay, final rocket from Donovan, is able to take him out. So overall, I mean, they came in there, they put out some damage, but overall didn't really get a whole lot of kills. Unable to get cap time because the Uber was early before the cap was actually going through on a second. So defense from Franzj comes through. They got the full Uber at. Just be mindful of the High Five spy lingering by Frog. That might be a thorn in their side long term.
Really could. He's kind of gone for an off timing. You wouldn't expect it. And seems like someone might have spotted him taking an ammo pack. It might be Donovan, and yeah, he's got him ready and locked over in Cheese. Gonna be able to take him down, and really great stuff from Donovan recognizing that. But the Uber comes out from Franzj. They might be able to catch in to the cell combo, but I think they've been able to escape at least for the meantime, and seems like the cell might want to try and repush this immediately. Raven's kind of thinking about it. He's like, all right, there's no one here. We can take some space, guys. Can we get in? Dingo, they're moving into lobby. They had a sentry gun for a hot second, but they've switched off onto all the 6's class. A big bomb coming in for both soldiers, doing a lot of damage onto Jay, forcing him back, but not enough to get the kill or the pop. I mean, he doesn't have Uber to use anyways, so we're just trying to drive by this for the meantime. A lot of great spam coming out from the cell, just forcing everyone on Franzj back, and you know what, Jarrett? They've been able to do it, push out of their last, back on the second.
Yeah, no Delman to fear, and honestly, the cell did a very good job of kind of baiting out the blind bomb that came in from Franzj, so they weren't able to achieve too much more than just, you know, a trade back and forth, and that didn't really do anything to, you know, beware of the Uber that was going to come their way if they stuck around, so they're going to go ahead and back up to mid. They do maintain their own Uber, though, so they finally reach it. It's going to reach a stalemate scenario. No off classes or anything. I think we usually don't see that too much in this point anyway, because it's not, I mean, it depends in general, but it's not that hard, I think, to try to get people in to actually do the sacks here on this map. So I think people usually just go ahead and bomb in and cross their fingers and are content with that. So you can see Exile just walks in, and it's almost like he's not contested whatsoever. Sam will bomb in, find himself inside lobby. Immediately 2 players going back to chase, and then Greg is going to be put into a corner. Yum Yum pistoling him down, but Zam's distraction is no longer. Yum Yum on the chase, trying to find the weak players, but accidentally runs into two. Uber exchange on the main choke side is for Sam. Will get dropped in this Uber, so the side of Franzj is not going to be able to really stay here long term. They definitely need to make sure they defend for as long as possible on mid, if they even can. No stickies to lock things down. It has to be Donovan to really save the day here, but the timing has to be perfect. Coming through the choke, they're turning around, trying to find a way to land onto Jay, but Dingo takes him down with his sticky, and that is all she wrote for the side of Franzj here on mid. That was their one chance, and did not quite hit the mark. They get the Sam forward respawn, so they're able to at least set something up on two, but the one player ad might be just enough for the Cell to make some moves here.
It seems like they're already trying to get in through Cheese. High Five is in behind, gonna meet up with Exile, doing a lot of damage, but is gonna be taken down, but that allows everyone else on the Cell to get so much space, and Dingo getting a nice pipe onto Exile. Sam taken down as well. Dingo finds another onto Sam, but Demo dead, and it's only gonna be 3 up for Franzj. Yum Yum, Donovan, and their medic Lolguy trying to furiously build Uber. They're going to be at a disadvantage. Vassell already bombing in. Greg going in so deep to try and get on the Lolguy. He gets Yum Yum regardless. That's insane. The respawners coming out for them, but there's just too much cap time on the point. Vassell take the first round.
It's a little bit of back and forth, but at the end of the day, the Cell proved true and take the first round here on Sultry, their map pick. Go on to the next mid. The first mid, I mean, there wasn't really that many kills. It was only a handful, and the Cell eventually got bullied out and lost a lot of positioning and just said, you know, let's cut our losses and just leave early. But we'll see if we'll see something similar this time around, if we'll see a whole lot more aggression and committing from one of the two teams that wants a more definitive victory here. So far, nothing of the sort will really be seen. You'll see a couple fakes and some attempts to try to put some damage onto the soldiers in particular, but nothing too much to handle. You can get arrows back and forth here and keep yourself in the fight. High Five bombing in over to the enemy team's Frog. Gonna leech off some health packs, and so far, despite the kill, the Cell's health is not too good, and you can see by the dominance they've made, they've almost capped this entire point at the end of this mid-fight here. The mid-fight hasn't even ended yet, and they got the cap. But overall, able to sacrifice their soldiers to be able to get enough frags here, and Soar is going to go for a big play. Oh, the timing, though. A bit off. Didn't notice him? I don't think, at least. I feel like they didn't realize he took a scatter shot. They're not really looking around. They just don't know.
That's kind of crazy. They don't know. I thought, like, Yum Yum did know, but now Soar has made his presence now. They definitely know. And it's still not the best timing. He's got two people searching back for him. Yum Yum taking him in a 1v1. Soar might be able to win it. Oh my god, Yum Yum just barely 5 hit points remaining. Was able to survive throughout that, but the Uber coming in from Franzj immediately in. They take down the sentry gun. Can they get the air shot onto High Five? Just jumping around the point to stay alive. Zam, nice one onto Dingo, but just getting all the picks. It's only going to be the heavy, but he's too slow with the Brass Beast, and it's going to be 1-1.
Yeah, they walked out of spawn, and Raven on heavy and Dingo just ate the same 2 explosives, and that did an immense amount of damage that immediately ended any sort of defense, really, once the Uber was over. So not really a big chance for them. On to another mid. We saw a lot more aggression this time from the side of Franzj, but it wasn't very explosive. It was very slow and methodical, where they just stood on top of the point and really bullied them out. So seems like maybe some better spam needs to come out from the side of the Cell to really keep them in here, or at least maybe they should pull the trigger first. In fact, it's gonna be Greg. He's the flashbang. He goes in, a distraction. High Five. Oh, air sticky on the Lolguy, though. Dingo coming in clutch, taking the heals out of the game, and they gotta get the hell out of Dodge. Raven finds the kill on Zam, able to stake his way out, but Exile, he's in the back line, slowing them down, buying some extra room for his team, but they're unable to really get there in time. In fact, Sam, coming in late, is going to die, and Yum Yum, can he 3-shot their entire team? Gets the 2-1 at Dingo. Needs to take the heals out of the equation, but the melee from Raven will seal the deal as the Cell, with an explosive mid, come through and take the mid for themselves.
I mean, that was just open season on Lolguy. It was the perfect pencil bomb. He was just asking to be air shot there. Not much dodging you could really do there, so unfortunate for him, but it is going to be very, very good for the Cell. They are going to be able to push in here with Uber advantage, but because they had to deal with all those people going for Jay, it is going to be 70% for Lolguy. They might be able to get here, but losing Zam early is not going to help us. They immediately go in Vassell, trying to get onto Lolguy before he has 80%. They might be able to get here to defend on their last. They have High Five over in the spawn. Very weak, trying to jump out to safety, just barely makes it out, but Raven not going to be so fortunate, and it seems like Franzj have been able to do so, hold on to the last, and they want to try and repush with this Uber.
I think it was really funny how you could see Jay leading the charge, the furthest person forward, like, guys, we gotta catch him, let's go. But some nice pipes and explosives coming from the red team, able to get the force out of Lolgai. And High Five is behind. They're going to send 2 or 3 back for him, so it's going to slow down the cap, but it's not really going to block his spawn or anything. So overall, there will be a 1-player advantage for the blue team to use short term here, despite the Uber disad. A little bit of a tussle inside. Cheat is going to lead to Zam's death, so we're giving him his life. Lolgai in the thick of it. Fine for now, though, with the rest of the team. Ate some damage, but long term, the Cell, they do have ad. They might just bust their cheese right back on the mid, and it is kind of seen. But Dingo, immediately his jump is juggled just a tad and is unable to actually reach their exit. So this Uber is used for nothing more than space, and Dominant is behind the long term. They're just running back into mid. Here comes Donovan, bombing in, able to take down Raven. Might go for a second bomb, actually doesn't even need to. Getting some rockets on a Dingo, sends him to the grave as he will indeed fall. The cap taken by the blue team. Sam barely alive after the whole debacle. Same with Donovan as they're on the move still. Exile pushing them out inside lobby. And not only do they regain mid without even needing to use their Uber, they get 2 for free and just walk into last because of how little explosives are up on the field if they even want to.
Yeah, they might be able to, and it seems like they're getting in position to do exactly that. Over in Valley, getting through the left side from their point of view, and there's no resistance whatsoever. They're going to be able to get in super deep before having to use this Uber. They take it now. Take down the subject, just mulching onto Greg and High Five. No soldiers to block the point at all. It's really onto this Heavy and Dingo to try and lock things down. The soldiers bombing around. They do buy enough time to get their own Uber. They find one onto Donovan. Can they get any more? Yum Yum just hiding around the little fence. Should be taken down, but Lolgai, Exile, and Zam managing to stay alive and get out onto second. That should be enough to dissuade Vassell from pushing out. Seems like Raven is going to peek it, but it's really only him doing so. Actually, no, they want to kind of fight this, Jared.
Yep, they have the players here to be able to fight it, and it seems like there wasn't enough lockdown from the side of Franzj to be able to do too much. Donovan is going to spawn on Spy, so this is ad with Spy, so he's not really going to be a factor here for the immediate Uber, but maybe he can loop his way around and be behind them at the right time, depending on when this goes through. He is going to go ahead and decloak and be behind them when they're backing up at 75%. It's perfect.
Oh my God.
He doesn't really get very much more than this. Actually, no. A distraction to kill Raven, and he's still alive. Will eat an arrow probably and be fine. He's asking for it. Okay, he gets it. So they haven't even used yet. Just walking through lower. Don't even really need to use. Okay, they do actually, because High Five is kind of just showing himself. Does die to fall damage. So trying to lay down the hurt on one of the scouts is not going to be successful. Jay Pyro is out on the field because there's only so many damage dealing classes that could be out right now and will die on the point. Raven not there in time. Franzj, flawless execution, and that is how you spy with advantage.
I mean, we've kind of seen Donovan do similar spy tricks before, and he's able to make it work 9 times out of 10, surprisingly. He's just kind of a master at it and showing off his skills there. It is Franzj in the lead 2-1, which is not what you need if you're a Cell fan, and if they want any hope of really getting into playoffs, they basically kind of have to win every single round from here on out so they can get as most rounds as possible. But coming in onto this mid, Greg can be going in super deep, a lot of damage onto Lolgai, not enough to get the kill, but does force him back. High Five trying to follow up, but Lolgai got the pack, should be able to stay alive. They're all going in to try and get this one man, but he's been able to stay alive so far. Here comes the melee out, might be able to get the bleed damage. Does he get the bleed? He's at 11-7, nobody gets the small pack. It doesn't matter. They sent everyone in, Jared, every last one of them to get Lolgai, but he's still alive.
Yeah, it worked last mid, but I think Franzj kind of expected it and knew what adjustments to make. This time they bombed in, and they were not in a position to really collect the kills there. Lolgai just made it. Not only did he play in a way it's like, okay, if you want to kill me, you have to spend too much to kill me, and all of a sudden it's not worth it. But he didn't even die. Unsuccessful plays there from the side of the Cell. Gonna have to go back to the drawing board. Maybe even just choose a different target to keep up the aggression. But at the end of the day, we're seeing Franzj with another last push. 50 ad, plenty usable, going in, getting some damage on a J. It's fine for now, though. Need to take down this gun. It will eventually fall, ending on the right-hand side of the map, taking down High Five, unable to really block the point there. They're trying to move some stickies off the point to maybe corner cap it. Bomb coming from Donovan, levitated by the Heavy, will end up dying on top of the point from a debt from Dingo. But the cap time is gained. The Heavy has fallen. Not enough in the tank for the side of the Cell, and Franzj take another round, 3-1 on Sultry.
Franzj, after that first round, like you said, they've kind of been able to pick up steam and get faster and faster and faster. I think that's the first proper mid to last that we've had, and we've kind of seen a few beefed last pushes from both teams, particularly in that first round, but that one from Franzj looked completely flawless. Now they're going to be going on to this next mid, and we're going to have to see if the Cell are going to be able to adapt. Seems like they want to send High Five in behind, going into the enemy team's Frog. Here comes the bomb from Greg, trying to get onto Sam. Does a lot of damage. Jay trying to serve for his life, but here comes the follow-up as well. High Five getting one onto Exile. Raven finding another, a much better mid so far for Vassell. If they're able to keep Jay alive, it's only going to be Yum Yum trying to go for a desperation play over towards Choke in the 1v1 with Soar. Is looking like he might be able to stay alive just a little bit, and they're gonna have to send a few people back to try and get this man. He's still alive somehow, just kind of delaying, buying as much time as possible, and he should be able to get out. There's no one really chasing him too deeply, but it's still gonna be a win for the Cell.
Yep, full Uber available for the side of Jay. They did keep up the aggression on that mid. They just went for slightly different targets, and eventually High Five came in and was able to take down the combo after so much damage was done to them. So just some small tweaks here and there nets them in a positive position. Their ad is dwindling a bit. They gotta go soon. It might be another deja vu scenario where the blue team gets Uber in the middle of the push, but they're going in now. Not able to find the sentry. It's a level 1 in the corner. Sniper on the field from Exile, trying to find a way to dome someone, but overall no kills will happen for the Postu. Heavy on the field, trying to corner cap a little. High Five committing so much damage on him. Sam and Yum Yum on top of each other's models die in the same sticky, but Uber available. Sam is gonna get dropped. They're holding on to this for as long as possible. Don't want to use it until they have their respawners to make sure these two scouts don't just plow over you once. Oh no! Oh no, the green was a little too much. Oh my god. I kind of get the first one from Sam if he's like, if you make the argument where like, oh, I dropped my demo and then I buy time for the Uber and then I'll get 3 respawners to come in for the post. But that one, there's no excuse. That was a straight up accident. So the Cell come on strong, and they are able to take another round.
They are able to do it in a very big blunder coming out from Franzj. We see High Five doing the same exact thing, but is going to meet up with Zam. They recognized what happened last time. High Five going around behind and able to collapse on them. They have Zam rolling out through Frog to try and counter that, and at best it seems like it's just going to be a trade for High Five, so pretty good read from Franzj, but we are in the middle of a pause, so we can't really extrapolate too much from that. It could be maybe another mid to last from the Cell, and Franzj are taking this as a little bit of a pause opportunity to say, all right, what's going on, guys? We got mid to last, and we had a little bit of a pretty crucial mistake in that previous round as well, and might be them just kind of slow things down and touch base with the rest of the team. But otherwise, the Cell, they're still in it. It's still doable for them. They were able to push with Uber advantage, which is kind of what you need to see from a team. And so far at the moment, their hopes might still be alive.
The Roamer special inside Frog. Yeah, these two are most definitely going to die unless someone misses a rocket. Oh, okay. That was Sam crashed again, probably. Ooh. He crashed. They paused and unpaused to get him into the server. So that was not attack, I don't think. So the question is where was he when he crashed? Because it could have been a pretty bad moment. I've seen you see every now and then a couple Ubers are going on. All of a sudden, one of the players just disappears in the middle of the Uber. That's never good. One of them was, I think, Logan in Grand Finals. I saw he was taking an Uber, and when he was supposed to sticky jump with the Uber, he just stood still and decided to choke. It was on this map too. So there's you can have some pretty bad luck sometimes. But fingers crossed for the players.
Yeah, but he just puts the sticky down, he dets it, and then you just don't see him again. Where did he go? Crashed out.
Yeah. Looks like this is going to be our first 5v5 mid, though. And I mentioned that mostly because I think High Five has been a pretty important component for the Cell's success so far. It's been one soldier going in as a distraction, the other soldier going in for greatness. But right now, when you only have one soldier, you kind of change up your strategy a little bit. And maybe that's enough to allow Franzj to, even though Zam sacrifices himself, it's enough for them to put themselves back on the map in terms of mid victories. So I might have to make some adjustments here or there depending on how things go.
I'm gonna be honest. I just realized that everyone on Franzj are wearing the same hat. I don't know if we mentioned that before, but they're all wearing like the Batman hat.
They
completely completely irrelevant from whatever strategies are going on. But I just had to say that because I just realized it. They got that team synergy going on.
The 2 Fort Knight.
So maybe that's what the Cell's missing out on. I don't see them wearing all the same hat. Actually, seems like they all have kind of animal related stuff, or most of them. So maybe they've gone for a little bit of a different theme. Regardless, no, I 100% agree. High Five has been so crucial on kind of these mids, kind of being able to either fade, allowing Greg to go in for the glory, or vice versa. So I'm gonna have to see if maybe they're gonna be able to adapt, or if they're just gonna change out their game plan instead of just going for a low guy, maybe play a little bit more passive.
Ooh, it's Jay lagging. That's worse.
Yeah.
You never
So
want your medic to lag out. And the pause and unpause means that it wasn't just a little bit of lag. It's likely he crashed out of the server at some point and had to rejoin.
yeah, and if we're in the situation where, regardless of where they are on the map, the Cell have Uber advantage, that can be a pretty tricky one to try and come to some type of agreement. Because you could be like, all right, we've got Uber advantage, so we should be able to get this next point, and they'll be like, well, we might have been able to backcap you and win the game. So should we do that? So it can be a little bit dicey and a little bit rough when it's a medic, especially if it is in that scenario. I mean, if Franzj are the ones with Uber advantage, then doesn't mean too much. You can just be like, all right, we'll just let Jay build until he has 40% or whatever he had previously. But we are going to be
Sam
going live.
lived.
Oh, Sam does live. Okay, that completely changes things, and you see immediately they're just backing out of there.
Oh, High Five's mad.
He is.
I mean, you do what it takes to win. So Zam forts. They're immediately drawing. Someone's capping, so it's a 5v5. The distraction is there for Zam to get in. Unable to really find too much. The lock and loads are flying, but unable to really connect there. So overall, blue team will take the mid. They will go ahead and sack Zam. Not really finding too much there. And since High Five's rolling out, he's not in the best position to go ahead and go for any countering. Obviously, Greg doesn't really want to. So, seems like they're just gonna go ahead and let Zam respawn. Back to the drawing board. He's holding the door. He's not leaving. They're talking about it. Oh no, they decided not to. I think it's like they were talking about him holding the door for someone, and he was just sitting there with the door open. But eventually did come out of it. So, deciding not, maybe saving it for later. So far I think Franzj been pretty good about these situations, sending in like their soldiers for distractions and stuff like that. Immediately here comes one, not committing, just going inside cheese and looping back around. Zam committing. Jay
Zam!
dropped.
Oh, maybe that's where Jay was, because he didn't react at all. That could have been where it happens. I mean, I'm not going to say, I'm just going to give Jay the little bit of a benefit of a doubt.
360 ping.
Oh, that's
360 ping medic.
that is definitely why. I mean, that is so unfortunate, and we can see, I mean, Franzj, the pause happened. Do they talk about it? Are they going to let Jay get back up to 100%? If that is the reason, seems like they're going to be taking seconds, so no. They're just going for it. They're just going to take advantage of the fact that they got that drop anyway. And now here comes the bomb from High Five. They are able to get out the force from Lol, guys. So I guess a little bit of a silver lining. They're not at risk of being pushed out onto their last immediately. But that is so unfortunate for Jay.
Yeah, they're just walking in to draw High Five. Immense amount of damage onto the scout. Is not going to be able to collect a kill, though. They're getting healed up for now as they're reaching towards the point. 2v2 scenario. Respawners are going to come eventually, so blue team have to win now or never. Yum Yum immediately takes a lot of damage, but is going to be taken out by the respawner. Greg will help seal the deal. Raven collects the kills. A taunt comes out from Greg. And Franzj, they didn't do too bad, but it wasn't fast enough, as these late deaths from Franzj, especially onto their medic, are going to make it really hard to actually fight this. Sam's kind of trying to see if he can do something sneaky. They're showing themselves here, but they do have a heal disad long term, so the Cell are going to arrive, finish it up, and Exile and friends do indeed have to run away, unable to successfully find anything, so back to mid they go. Advantage, albeit small, is still there for the side of the Cell. They could just, pop Dingo in and see if they can collect some kills, but it is so small that you will not be able to actually complete the mid cap. They will block it with their own Ubers, so Up to you if you want to use it. Raven is thinking about maybe building it up, but they're poking and prodding. They're seeing how close they actually are. Maybe they can bait someone out or walk early. It's another very viable strategy. Walk before you get the Uber, as they will only barely reach the Uber now. And they've already gained tons and tons of room. Zam's weak. Donovan not really in position, so they just take this for free based on fear alone, and we're up to a stalemate here with the Cell winning mid. Great job from them with the heads-up play.
Yeah, really, really great job. Because like you said, otherwise, if they just popped in immediately once they got the Uber, they might not have been able to make anything stick there. Now, High Five going to be going in for a bomb. Nice rocket on the low guy. It's going to be enough to get the Force expert stuff there. A nice damaging first rocket. Jay at risk of falling as well, but has been able to stay alive. They're very close, Franzj, so if they just rip the Uber, which they are going to, can they catch anyone out? There's two over in Cheese. The flank might be able to get one. Donovan going to be able to stay alive, and because they have to circle back to try and get him, there's so much free space for Franzj to just immediately come back in and retake Exile. Over in Cheese, trying to see if he could catch anyone out on the Cell. Not going to be able to, but the damage is already done. Franzj being able to hold on to second, and this time it's going to be them with the slight Uber advantage.
Heads up play from the Franzj flank, making sure that even though they eventually got cleared out, they made the Cell have to turn around and lose positioning to go chase them down with Beam. So they weren't able to actually lock down the doors, and it allowed Franzj to just walk back in and not have to use any more resources, really. This ad, I mean, it's too small. It's 15%. You're not using that on a map this big. So overall, it'll be a stalemate with the Cell in charge. No off classes respawn from the whole thing that happened. Is the pre-fires are out in full force from Franzj. They're just all just pre-firing the choke hardcore, hoping that someone flies through it, but looks like Frog is going to be the angle of choice from the side of the Cell. Haven't really seen this too much yet, but mostly a distraction for High Five to bomb through. Trying to reach the pack, will not quite get it in time. No damage on the wall guy, so that'll be the one man from the side of the Cell as Zam. It's his turn. On to Jay. Hits one rocket, but doesn't have enough in the tank to be able to really do much more. Half HP Jay's A-OK. As the scout was poking around, but will not overall commit. So 5v5 scenario, more room for the Cell to work with, and we'll see what they have in store for us.
We are going to have to see Lolgai just expertly dodging those very, very dangerous lock and load pipes that Dingo's firing over from the choke, and all eyes on the Cell to maybe try and do something with the slight bit of man advantage they have until Zam gets back up there, but he's basically already there, so it's going to be an even 6v6 for the meantime. Might be Greg getting buffed up to try and go for something. High Five as well as now the pressure from the rest of the combo over in Cheese. Here comes one soldier, Greg. Gonna bomb in for the fade. The committal from High Five. Gonna land. Actually might be able to get in behind, but he's got two scouts chasing him. That's a very dangerous one, or difficult one for a soldier to win, and he just goes down. So now it's gonna be Franzj's opportunity to counter-sack.
Yep. Zam a bit weak, unable to really commit there. Yum Yum poking and prodding to see if he can maybe go for one himself, but is not going to try to kill the soldier on the high ground on the tower. Just backs up, so overall will not commit there. Is High Five respawned. 1 minute left. Can really only go for maybe one attempt before you have to just say screw it and pull out, you know, a crazy Uber exchange or cut your losses and go back to their mid. So far, the Cell have been pretty okay at mid, so I wouldn't be too surprised if they slowed it down, because it doesn't really look like they're doing that too much. The drop, though, will really seal the deal. Distracted by Greg, High Five goes in, give up 2 soldiers to collect a medic frag. Thank you, yes please, as tons of damage on to remaining players like Donovan and Exile as well from the side of Franzj, so they're unable to really chase too far without really being able to be buffed. I mean, Sam's kind of showing himself, but he's going for it. They get the kill on the sword, which is something. So good job from Donovan in the side of Frog, but they're actually doing pretty well dismantling them. Slowing things down. No scouts. This is not that bad for the side of Franzj. Just don't die to the Uber.
Oh, really great rocket from High Five. Gets on the Exo, but the Uber is forced. They're not going to be able to catch anyone with it. Everyone else, a nice bomb out. Greg with the spoon. I spoke too soon. He gets one onto Sam. That is actually really, really great, because I think now Franzj, they're not going to try and repush without their demo. It is going to allow Vassell to at least get the point. Now they are going to have the faster respawners. Dingo is very far forward. Might be caught out. He's there. The spawners. Donovan gets that kill. Yeah, Zam is going to be able to respond as well, and Soar going for the back cap. Sam is there to try and block it, gets him with a nice pipe, and everyone from the Cell just barreling forward, trying to see if they can chaos their way to victory, but I don't think they're going to be able to. Franzj just have it on lock and are going to be able to retake their second.
You know, honestly, the Cell a little sloppy with holding things down. Got to make sure you check the corners. Got to make sure you put everyone on all the doors. And Franzj twice over, able to put the hurt on their own too, to be able to claim it as their own. That Uber this time as well. So on their way to mid. Mind the stickies in the choke, but so far they're through it pretty clean. Getting through, high five, bombing in, isn't going to commit, they're too far away. He gave up a lot of his health though. Greg going in, is going to be able to get the force on the Donovan. Unable to really get too much more though. The rest of the team has pretty much escaped as Uber is ready for the side of Jay and friends, and they might just go through the choke depending on the timing. Can't exactly block. Might as well wait for Greg, don't want to get pushed on the flank, because that happened to you last time, a couple times ago, where they pushed through cheese and it kind of screws you over. So they'll have Greg now, and actually just trying to walk through at least kind of slowly, just be mindful because Zam has worked his way behind. Oh, and Donovan, there's in on a jet, taking a little bit of damage, same can be said for Dingo. Zam coming in now, force, hasn't happened yet, Dingo extremely weak. He didn't succeed at getting the force, just barely. Playing on a knife's edge, and the Cell are able to take mid for free.
They are able to take it for free. I don't know if you said already, but we are now in continuous overtime, so it's going to be a 4-something game. One more round if you are Franzj, 2 for the Cell, so still technically doable for them. They've got an infinite amount of time to try and make it happen, and they're in a good position now to maybe get that third round and get them a little bit closer to taking the win here. It is going to be even Ubers, but they're sending in their soldiers to try and go for the sack. On the low guy, that's going to be enough to get the force out of them. Wasn't any damage, but they expend 3 to do it, so they had the people in the positions, but now, Jared, they're maybe at risk at losing 2 altogether.
Yeah, I mean, when you go for 3-man like that, part of you also kind of hopes that maybe you get a kill elsewhere as well, so you can keep your skeleton crew alive on 2 and not have that big of a player disad, but only getting the force there means you cannot fight that 3v6 even with ad. That's asking for the best Uber of a lifetime, so cutting the losses, giving up the point, going through cheese with their team they will eventually have to use, but cutting in the lobby. Raven too far forward, gets taken out by Donovan. They get 2 though. Dingo able to take down both soldiers. They're making moves on to last. Lokai trying to cross away and make sure he's safe, but they needed a cap too, so they're unable to really press the issue too far. So overall, expanding the Uber. They're trying to go for it now, but the respawners from Zam and Donovan are coming in soon, and Raven is nowhere near available. Morgan doesn't quite have Uber yet. Yum Yum on the field, locking it down on Heavy, and they are going to be unsuccessful there with that push. With the sword dying as well, means that it is a 6v4 scenario where this ad likely doesn't even need to get used by Franzj, and they might just try to use it for mid instead.
Yeah, Greg is going to be trading out with Zam, and that was kind of their backcap play and not panning out too well for the Cell. High five, pretty deep in cheese, but they might be able to get in time to defend on mid. They have Soar up on Sniper, and he's been taking a shot to maybe just try and dissuade everyone on Franzj to walk in here without using Uber. High five going in for a very big bomb, does trade out with Yum Yum, quite spectacularly so, and that is definitely going to slow things down. That's basically the sack attempt, and the Cell not going to do anything more off of that because they have Soar up on Sniper, and they're just going to try and play to give him some angles to work with.
I think Soar forgot to change out his loadout. He's on the anti-pyro weapon. Wrong backpack. Wrong backpack. It shouldn't matter though. You just dome someone and they're dead either way. Just don't take the damage, lol. But a little bit of awkward angle. You kind of have to put your life on the line to do Sniper on this map. Really, there is nowhere that's extremely safe. He got, I think, a body shot out already, but you really got to seal the deal with a quick scope or something. Or just find a moment where you can just hard scope in when they're not prepared for it. They're trying to distract at least a little bit inside Frog to make it harder for them to get closer to that choke. Prevent him from getting the angle he needs to. If anyone wants to go towards Frog to attack them, it puts them in the sniper sideline. You can see high five bombs in to bait someone over. Unable to really get the shot on Zamda, who did jump, but the final shot on Exile will hit. They are a bit weak though. Might be a bit hard to immediately do something off of it, but they have cracked the egg open. They just need to continue on and keep going. But it's only a matter of time before Exile respawns. They're back to square one. But no, they're in. They're through. Zam onto Jay, though. Missing a couple rockets, putting out the damage. Greg is in a fall. Uber forced. Logai doesn't need half to use, and this red Uber is so much better. They do have a sniper for the post, but killing Zam on high five. Pretty good job. Not drop. It's fine. This can't be saying the same for Sam, though, who doesn't die from fall damage. Is living on 1 HP, but Jay, the poster positioning, Yum Yum just takes him down. Got some weak scouts on the side of Franzj, but they got height advantage. High five coming in for the back line. Able to take down Yum Yum. The sniper still on the field. Sword just scoping up inside Frog, trying to put some extra damage, but it's a scout show for now across the entire board as they're trying to chase down Exile. He gets a kill from Raven, who's still here on 2 with Greg. Zam one of the few people left alive from the side of Franzj, is not going to be able to get too much more. And Donovan comes too little, too late, is unable to get any more damage, any more kills. Raven with a 6k after the whole deal. So many deaths, but a second point collected in the Cell's favor.
I mean, if it works, it works. They needed to push in onto second, and they got second. Sure, it was scrappy. Sure, it was a little bit questionable there when you had Jay dying in that post-Uber fight, like you said, but they were able to make it stick, and that's what matters now. They're trying to push in, actually, onto last, maybe go for some type of sack before the defenses are properly set up, before Ubers are in play. High five, going for a bomb all the way around, gets launched up by someone else's projectile, sends him into low guy, hits one rocket, not enough to get the kill, and that is going to be the sack attempt for Vassell. We're going to back up here, just in case Franzj try and get aggressive, but they're happy to sit on their last, fully build up this Uber. They got the sentry gun over to try and deny any bombers, and it's going to be all eyes on Vassell to try and break this and make it a tie game.
Yeah, Sam absolutely sent high five to the moon there with that lock and load, so no luck there, but they do get the respawn. There was no counter sack from the blue team. They spent time healing up, building up their gun, etc. And back to the drawing board for the red team with a full setup now. Gun at a different position. Have to figure out how they want to approach this. Donovan is on buff banner, trying to collect it, making sure that he's there long term. They're jumping over the doorway to kind of see how the hold is without actually, getting killed themselves. But it's actually going to be high five who gets picked inside lobby. As Zam was on the move a bit, maybe was going to consider going for a counter, but got really weak, helping collect that kill in the first place. So will not overall give up his life. Just more time taken off the clock. Seems like they're pretty happy going for another mid here if they need to, considering they did indeed win the previous mid. So, it's been going back and forth though, so the Cell still trying to make some moves. XL Sniper is now a factor on the field, so it's going to be even harder to go for a spam play to take out this gun. You might have to see another 3-man coming out and hope that you get more than just a force and maybe a kill or something else to be able to hold on to, but time's ticking. They're talking about it, roughing up. I think they're realizing that this gun is, yeah, you can't really spam it down. High five bombing in, 3-man. Damage on the low guy, 50 HP.
He gets it!
Drop from Dingo. A little bit better than last time. It's going to be much harder for them to actually do much
Zam
here onto, but Zam goes in, kills Dingo, and that's going to really seal the deal here. They are going to probably have to wait for players if the entire team of Franzj actually push out, but Yum Yum staying on last with the sentry, making the decision that they're not going to be able to hold two for long, especially because the Uber is coming right now from the side. They're actually using the Uber. There's only 2 players here. They really want to kill this demo, and then they just dry afterwards. Sam juggled up. 22 HP does indeed die. That honestly might be worth it. The gun is still up, though. They have to find a way to kill this gun with this dry. This is very, very meticulous here. They're immediately getting stuffed, though. Sword out of the picture.
He gets bombed onto Dingo. Zam with the sentry gun. Yum Yum, they able to take him down, and that's going to be no demo now for Vassell, and it was maybe looking okay in the buff banner coming out. They're just able to re-push without having to use Uber whatsoever and have an advantage regardless. Sword trying to go for a back cap is going to be met with a bunch of players, and I doubt they're going to be able to win that one. Might be able to get the trade out on Sam, and is going to now. The refight coming in from the Cell. A low guy, super weak. This is the air shot, but still is going to crater to their death, and it's just emulsioning all around. There's only going to be 2 players left for Franzj. They're bombing forwards if they can get onto Jay. They want to fight this Vassell. They know they have the heals advantage and the player advantage. Donovan going in behind through Frog. Might be able to recommit, but Sam gets one onto Dingo. Jay is so weak. Donovan going in for the bomb. Gets the kill, gets the drop. That is so unfortunate there. Jay didn't want to have to use, especially after his demo was dead, but he maybe should have regardless, because now Franzj are in an excellent position to keep hold of second and go further onto mid.
I swear all the explosive classes in this server right now are playing like it's the last match they're ever going to play. They're going crazy. Because right now, they're able to take down Raven. Greg is still behind, not committing quite yet. They do know of his existence. So it's just trying to bide his time, knows that the timing is not quite right now. They're just all capping to the point, wants to find a different one. Is high five, blind bomb, wrong choke. They went through cheese, not choke himself. So actually he's also behind with Greg. Is going to be closer to committing and gets the spoon out of Lola. He's just dead.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's insane plays, and now they can maybe try and refight this. They want to come back in. They see Zam over by the forge spawn. There's actually a backup going on to last, though. Donovan and XL, are they going to be able to clutch it out? They're getting one, but now here comes everyone back. Yum Yum trying to get onto. He's so weak. Jay just barely staying alive, dodging all the stickies, and You could have told me this was grand finals, Jared, and I would have believed you. The way that all of these players are playing at the moment, absolutely sensational. Franzj, they want to win this, and Cell really don't want to lose this. I was thinking maybe with their playoffs hopes so bleak that they might have been able to just be pushovers for Franzj, but not at all. They want to win this, and getting an opening pick onto Zam is going to make it a little bit more likely Greg going to be traded out, but Franzj, they might have to give this up, especially with Yum Yum going down. Donovan goes for a bomb, but thinks better about it, just jumps out to safety, and I do get the force, actually. I didn't even see that.
Yep, they are going to be able to get the force. The soul didn't even die, I don't think, unless it was Zam that did it. But either way, one player ad gained, Uber expended, but 85%. Franzj has got to buy their time. They're trying to build up the rest of it. They have the respawners now. The blind bomb from High Five comes in too early. He's not going to be really super healthy for when it's actually time to go in and get this force out of the way. Trying to heal him up now, so he's in a good position here. And he doesn't really have, he's not even at 200. He goes for a lobby play instead, brings back 2 players, has a scout kind of helping him, but immediately thwarted. They are going to have to give up Zam for it, though. He's question marking in the chat, why kill me? But at the end of the day, it works out as didn't have to use their Uber on the side of Franzj. Succeed in getting 2 kills there, and they can honestly keep on moving. Find a way to get some positioning on mid, or at least maybe just go for a play of some sort. But Greg is behind inside. Cheese was unspotted, did not figure that way, but Donovan immediately dead. Jay's living for now, and they have tons and tons of room here on mid. But Greg might be the thorn in their side. The force comes out, the headshot rocket. Spoon, the spoon, oh, Yum Yum is dead.
No, he's still alive. How is he still alive? How is he still alive?
Put him in a cell. Put him in a cell.
Someone please put him in a cell. Throw away the key. Yeah, it's criminal. It's actually criminal that he was able to stay alive throughout all that. He finally does get taken down, but the damage was already done, and that is going to allow the Cell to stay on their mid for just a little bit longer. They do have Uber advantage as well to try and go forward, and it's been so chaotic, and for both of these teams, they have to be watching out for the soldiers. They've been so efficient so far. Donovan goes in for the blind bomb a little bit too early, not going to be able to get any damage onto Jay, and seems like they've been able to take the second point fairly cleanly, but it's going to be very small margins, Jared, if they want to take it on to last.
Yeah, this is looking like some deja vu. You would go in and the Uber's going to save the day from the defending team. In fact, it might not even be too much longer until we actually see it come to fruition, but immediately getting a kill. That bodes really well for the side of the red team. Sorry, eats a lock and load, has to heal up. They're not committing quite yet. They know by now that it's not really ad anymore, but they have this explosive class kill, which makes it so much easier. And the fact that it's a heavy on a gun, Sam, unbeamed, just gets killed. High Five goes for it and does succeed. Gray had to give up a lot of life to distract there, so overall, still a very good trade, but Heavy makes it.
Oh, Sam
will trade his life, gets the kill on the sword. Dingo seals the deal there, but maybe a flank coming from one of the soldiers. Donovan unable to really find too much. 3v3 respawn advantage for the defending team here, especially if the Uber buys a lot of time, but we've seen some drops here, dropping players and drop Ubers on these last, so can't count anything out, but overall the Cell will ultimately disengage, and except for High Five goes in for the spoon? No. Yum Yum says no, you're not allowed. It's gonna be Donovan Spy, maybe?
Oh,
he's checking.
Sam.
He's not committing yet.
Greg has committed, though, I'll tell you that much. And he might be able to get the read on to Greg to know that he's on Spy. I don't know if he necessarily checked for a Spy, but they don't have a Pyro, so maybe they don't think about it. Greg been able to get in, I think, pretty unseen. They do take down the sentry gun. Oh, they do know. That is very unfortunate decloaking for him.
Yeah, when they were checking for Spy, they were able to see Greg, and that's why Exile swapped off Sniper onto Scout so he could spin around and look really easy. Finds him in the corner. Well, Exile also has Highlander ears, so that probably wasn't far enough away for him to not hear the decloak when literally nothing is going on in a last stalemate. Greg says Highlander players, so he knows it's a thing. You get PTSD from the Spy decloaks eventually playing enough Highlander. So, some time written off the clock. Only 2 minutes left remaining for the Cell to go ahead and try to crack this open. So far, their attempts have not really led to too much. They found a couple openings, just haven't been able to convert, really. But Exile on Spy, checking. Will not find anything, because the Cell is on cookie cutter classes right now. Probably another 3-man. High Five. Going in. Is going to die. Logai's just inside spawn. They're not finding too much. It's actually a 4-man. Dingo went in as well, but all they get is the Yum Yum sentry gun. They get a bit of explosive damage on the Logai. Just a 4-man for really nothing. That's not the execution you want, so giving up second in its entirety, and 3 blocked forward spawners. You can't fight the 3v6 on mid either, really. I mean, unless you're crazy, you could go for it if you really, really wanted to, but high five. He's getting juggled up, has to jump away. Raven, really aggressive as well. Mike put in a box. Sam jumps forward. It's actually Yum Yum that dies, though. You have to be mindful of the sniper on the field as well. Soar could be a very big factor here if they don't deal with him properly. Sam, headshot. Sam blasted back away from his team. High five, not
Raven
cleaned up.
Exile
scattered down. This is not going well for the side of Franzj. They thought it would be so easy. Yeah, it's a 6v3. They're not going to show up. It's fine. We do whatever. But no, the aggression from Cell, unexpected. The sniper from the Cell, unexpected. And just purely catching them by surprise against all odds, just like that sticky trap, catching Dingo by surprise.
Unexpected.
To net them the second point, with ad as well.
Well, they want to try and refight this. They're just coming right back in. Sam is going to get the Uber Force out from Jay. Can they find anyone? If they actually find Sam, so that's not going to be too bad. They take down Sam as well in the backlines. And with 2 picks, they might be able to just drive their way in here, especially with a demo being down. They're kind of getting everyone healed up in lobby, and they might be thinking about it. Might as well go for some type of play. But, oh yeah, they do have Soar up on Sniper. I did kind of forget about his presence there. But
and Dingo was rolling out, so it was like 4.5 V4. It's not that much, but they're trying now. They have players. They do have Jesse Hater. Jay rotating over. Greg gonna fall. They're in a corner. They're all just gonna die for the most part. Jay is probably gonna die to. Oh no, he doesn't die to fall damage. I didn't even notice that little lip of the roof was there. So they're alive for now, but only got a couple kills here. It's a 3v4. One of your players being a sniper. I mean, he's gonna go for a singular shot maybe. Nah, decides not to. Doesn't want to overstay his welcome. So back they go to mid. And with the Ubers equaling out here, we'll see another stalemate, Soar and Sniper, and 4 minutes to break it.
Yeah, it's going to be all eyes on Soar, or actually Sam going in for a very big play over by Choke. Does get taken down, and Donovan is up on Spy. Can he get in position to go for something, but the Uber's been forced out from his own team. Greg going in and manages to get the kill, and everyone else on the Cell being able to stay alive, and this could play into Donovan's hands if he's able to guess where they're going and gets in position to go for the stab onto Jay, because I doubt they're going to be using the Uber here. They're going to try and take it for free. They should be able to, but Donovan has been dislocated. Tries to go for the pistol, gets him down very low, but not enough to get the kill. That was closer than it should have been, Jared.
Yeah, a couple missed revolver shots, but it hit a couple more, and that's Jay forcing extremely early, but immediately down a soldier. Gonna be able to kill the gun. Actually, they swap off Engineer. They're gonna kill him to Exile instead. Sam bombing in to defend the point is gonna get body shot and just kill himself with his own rocket. Sam jumping on the point, defending it, getting kill on the Raven, putting Dingo all the way back to his medic. The final lock-in move from Dingo is gonna be able to seal the deal. It's just Donovan left alive as a respawner. Trying to buy some time. Exile up in 1, has to bomb onto the point, takes down Soar, but not enough in the tank there. So a 3-3 game, and going to match point.
Going to match point. I mean, the Cell, they're in it. They want to win it. I think playoffs aspirations be damned. They just want to win right now. They put in so much effort, so much throughout just this singular match alone. And they are still within reach of trying to do it. It might come down to this mid. They've been a little bit back and forth, and it's really been Vassell trying to aggress onto Lol Guy. We don't see High Five going for the play through Frog, kind of that bout with Sam kind of getting the better of him, so he's just going to stay back. Sam actually going to be going for a little bit of a wraparound play. Very, very weak over on the low ground. The soldiers now from the Cell bombing ground to make a bit of space. Donovan jumps in, jumps back to try and stay alive, but it's going to be Sam, and Sam the first through the fall. Nice stuff from Dingo and Raven to get those picks. Can they collect any more? Greg finds one onto Yum Yum, and this could be an opening for, I mean, the Cell to get all the way in with a play onto Jay. He barely stays alive.
Seems like the adjustments from the Cell are proving pretty strong right now. Even though I got thwarted the previous time from Zam kind of, you know, taking High Five out of the equation, Zam did not really get to have a game. He bombed, tried to fake bomb, something thwarted him. He got sent underneath the point, ate an arrow, and a scout just cleaned him up, so we're down a soldier immediately. But Lol Guy pushed into a corner for this 2-man, giving up 2 soldiers for the force. Pretty efficient so far, considering what we've seen so far from the Cell, trying to break the stalemate here. But will they continue to stay on the point here with the 2-man disadvantage? Looks like they kind of want to. Might want to bait out one of the soldiers. They're bringing pretty much their entire team, as they will eventually have to use Dingo bombing forward. There's a couple players behind him, get some damage on one of the soldiers. Actually, Yum Yum is really weak and will get scattered down by Raven, but Exile killing him in in the post. Jay gets bombed, has to surf away. Zam trying to find a separate target, but will find Greg maybe. Jumping on him is going to overall be a soldier trade. Zam running away, 3v3 scenario with respawners favoring whatever team ends up defending against a push, but looks like both teams are wanting to be that defending team, will not press the issue and go ahead and go for a full reset. Spares Zam, who is seeing he could find a play and an alternate angle, but will not be so lucky. Just backs up to last. High five, goes for a greed play. It's fine for now, and overall, it's going to be pretty much a small stalemate. I guess there is they do know they have ad here. It's very, very small. You have to walk early or just bomb straight through, and it's looking like they just want to bomb straight through the shutter.
Soar on sniper, so maybe that's the good call. Greg is going to be caught out there just in position to make sure the force had happened if Franzj didn't go for it immediately, and that's going to be enough for them to get a kill and get onto the point. But now it's going to be the cell with very big Uber advantage. They're going to take it in, a man down and a sniper on the field. They're getting in so deep. Low guy is so weak, but they're not getting really any picks here. The re-response from Franzj just might come in. Zam might be able to get onto Jay. They're trying to escape here. Raven trying to do everything to defend his medic. Gets two, might be able to get another. He's doing everything to try and block the world, and now here comes the follow-up from Greg, wrapping around behind, doesn't do anything, gets a little bit of damage. Raven trying to defend everything with his life, but might be enough to get Jay out to safety. The bomb in from high five onto low guy, not gonna be able to get the kill, but does allow Soar to get up with his medic. Now it's gonna be a scout, 1v1 with heals, but the respawners coming in from both teams. Both demos have now entered the fight. Once again, the Uber is much better for Franzj, and they might just take it in. Exile running forward with confidence is gonna be coming in. Greg is gonna be able to get the force out though.
Yep, so overall, getting the kills there, definitely worth it. And they're still chasing on Jay, only 80%, putting a lot of damage on him. They're able to thwart the soldiers for now.
High five gets low guy.
But high five in the back lane, takes on the low guy. He will eventually die, and Jay as well. So the soldiers are indeed going to be able to succeed in taking out both teams' medics. Only 2 left alive, 2 hurt scouts on the red team, but the forwards are out here because the mid was not capped by the side of Franzj. They went for the chase and are a bit too greedy, so they will have an entire team here for the cell, spawning up and ready to defend second. Probably won't be able to really press the issue into mid too convincingly here, but at the end of the day, the little victories that Franzj had on mid that allowed them to go forward in the first place are kind of reverted based off of what happened in the fight. So at the end of the day, no cap means no victory, and back to mid you go. Another stalemate with Franzj owning mid.
Franzj owning mid, an opportunity for them to slow down the game because it's been pretty high octane, pretty chaotic for the majority of it. Franzj have been in this position before, and they've been pretty good at being able to either get someone behind or get the force out onto Jay, kind of generate some momentum, whether that is one of the previous 2 things, or just kind of going in for the trade and getting the better of it. So we're just going to be over towards Choke, getting all their soldiers nice and buffed up. They haven't really opted for the off classes to try and break these types of stalemates, where as Vasilla has with Sword coming up on the sniper a few times, we haven't seen Exile or Yum Yum do anything like that just quite yet. So all eyes really on the soldiers to try and initiate something. Donovan making their way over into Cheese with the combo, maybe to try and create some space and draw some eyes for maybe the likes of Zam to get in through Choke.
Yep, trying to make some space. Bomb comes in from Zam, trying to put the damage onto Jay. Only gets 50 damage onto him, so Jay's fine. It's going to be the sack as the Seller on the move, trying to find an opening. High five takes a lot of damage inside Cheese. We'll have to go back for a pack. There's all eyes on Greg. Bombs in, sends Logan into the air, but only half HP. So at the end of the day, a 1-for-1 trade onto the opposing medics. No force, very little damage, and we'll see some respawns for try number 2 as 2 minutes left remaining until it'll be forced to a full reset back to mid.
Here comes Donovan in through the Choke, is trying to land onto Jay, almost gets on top of him, does a lot of damage, kind of forces Jay back.
Mode.
Oh, really great stuff. Yeah, taking down Exile there, and now with 2 picks, the Cell might get a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, but last time we saw this, it didn't really work out for them too well, so they really have to have the execution down. They find Sam a little bit alone. He surfs away. Bomb comes in from high five. They take down
Dingo.
2. Dingo takes down Sam and Yum Yum. Only 3 left alive from Franzj. Sam, not long for this world. The pistol coming out from Raven and the taunt on the point is Uber in tow for the red team, trying to make some space. Be mindful of the forwards. Not going to be able to get them in time, though, so they're sticking them off just to be extra safe. As Franzj all the way back to last. They're not going to have their demo up. They're not going to have an engineer quite up. And we see High Five already poking and prodding through one of the doors. Maybe slightly too early. Distraction for Dingo and lower. Sor is going to die, so that's kind of be their sack here. As that will actually give time for the sentry gun to get built up to level 3. Got the demo up, sticking the point, and eventually the doors, considering it is even. And I'm curious if Sor will go back on Sniper. It seems like he's been on Sniper a lot, and it's worked out pretty well, and he will spawn on Spy.
Ooh, Exile is checking it, so they should know if he's been doing his due diligence, and I think he has opted to remain on the scout and maybe just be that little a sentry or camera just swiveling around. No, he's opted on the pyro. Enough is enough, and he's going to be trying to sniff out Sor's position. Sor doesn't know at the moment that they know, so it is going to be interesting to see. But now with the pyro,
see the pyro, you kind of know.
Oh, that's
you walk in there,
that's unfortunate.
And you see a pyro on a map last as giant as this. You kind of know a bit like, oh, they probably checked. So unfortunate. At least you still try to play it out because the pyro only has so much range in the grand scheme of things, right? You know, you just kind of stay away from him, get some other pick, maybe go for a revolver kill instead of a stab. But two-man here, onto the engineer and the gun. They drop Yum Yum low. High Five are the first to fall. They're not really committing that much, though. It seems like it's just going to be the one-man as Zam was trying to find a way to be on the move, but got caught in the door and was unable to really get through, so just decide not to as overall just be the one-man. Greg will have a turn now. Off timing. Dingo getting the kill onto Zam, preventing the counter-attack from really coming through. Sam kind of in the middle of it all. Sor wants to go for the frag there to be able to get the demo man kill, but is unsuccessful. But Exile might be lucky enough, needs to hit this pistol on a Dingo, but one too many missed shots. Kind of sticking it out as well as High Five goes in for another sack, all the while not finding much. 3 left alive, 1 respawner for the side of the cell. They do have some merit to want to try to stay. Greg might come from an off angle. This Uber exchange is eventually going to come out the side of Raven, running into the enemy team, taking some damage onto Exile, making the force have to happen, and some flashes for the blue team means there was not that bad for it, but they do have actually much worse in position at the tail end of things. This damage from Sam as well through the choke is going to make it hard for them to actually bust right back through as soon as they leave, so they actually have to give it up in its entirety. And honestly, Franzj, despite the flashes, they played that pretty well. So the Yum Yum shenanigans are going to be a thing you're going to have to deal with, and that's going to be a thorn in your side for try number 1, so that's going to buy a lot of time off the clock. But actually, he's swapping off to Spot. Is he staying? Or is he... Let's see.
I think he was checking to see if someone was up on Sniper, but...
Yeah, he's checking, okay.
Yeah, there is no one up on Sniper, at least at the meantime, for Vassell. They got the standard 6v6 roster. They're all stacked over in a, geez, if someone just waddled through Frog, they'd have the flank of a lifetime, but now High Five is going to be the one trying to do the flanking along with Sword, getting into lobby behind Exile, going over to try and face them. Everyone else trying to worm their way in. They do take down Exile. Yum Yum might be at risk of falling as well, so that's going to be both scouts down. That's going to be really, really good. It makes it so much dangerous.
Sword Legacy. Gets the kill on Sam too.
He gets
Legacy, get the kill on this. Okay, I thought he almost got a 4K there. They did have to use though. Greg coming in with the force. He was on a rampage right there. Almost single-handedly took that for his team just by himself. And Uber's still available for Jade. This could be the thing that seals the deal. The execution has to be on point though. The blind bomb, perfect. Gets the force. Sam will give up his life for it, but the banner is out. It's actually a buff banner though. It's not a battalion. It's not the damage decrease. It is the mini crit. So this post Uber is going to be really sketchy. As the mini crit scatter takes down Raven. High Five getting run down, pesto down by Exile, and this post is non-existent as Franzj hold on with the banner in tow. As the cell back to the drawing board, on to by the shutter.
Now it's going to be uber advantage as well for Franzj. A bomb from Greg tries to nullify that, gets a little bit of damage onto Lolgai. Not enough to get the kill. Sor trying to finish it off, does get the kill. That's going to be really great stuff there, but it still means that the Cell are going to have to give up second, at least for right now. High Five jumping in, tries to see if they can block the point, tries to go for it, but bombing into a bunch of scouts, not the best way to do it. It is going to be taken down by Dingo. Nice one, finds one onto Donovan. Now they're going to be able to repush. Sam, super weak, just going to barely be able to get out. And, you know, if you don't succeed once, just try again, Jared. And the Cell managed to put themselves in a good position to do that. Yum Yum, however, is in behind.
He has to spawn camp someone. Because if he just goes in and dies, and there's not even a gun yet on the disedit. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and watch the last. It's starting right now. This could be the thing that seals the deal. They're running in, get some damage onto Zam, so he's unable to actually block the point in time. In fact, Greg is the one that kills him. They're chasing down Exile, very weak, getting him killed. Greg will be one to fall, though, so they did lose someone along the way, but Yum Yum showing up inside the lobby area, takes a lot of damage, wants this pack. No cap time game for the side of the red team yet, but they are collecting a couple kills. Low guy will die. High five bomb to seal the deal. Donovan, Yum Yum, the last one's left alive. Heals available from the red team. The long-term police respawns are coming, and they have to win now or never. Zam bombs in. Lots of damage on Raven. High five taken out. Only 2 left alive. They're still in the fight inside themselves because Greg is a respawner, and respawner is actually coming in from the side of Franzj right now. Exile on the field. Greg coming in as well, but Demo and Medic respawner. They have to go into cap time now.
They have to double. They don't.
They succeed. They get it. It wasn't a reset. They able to get the point. It's a 4-3 victory for the Cell against all odds. They go in with the sultry map pick and seal the deal.
That is absolute insanity from start to finish. I mean, it started pretty slow. It picked up steam, and it just didn't stop the Cell against, I don't want to say all odds, but against a lot of odds, were able to walk away with it. Because, I mean, it was 3-2. They were able to get 3 rounds in a row without losing any. So, definitely kind of pulling back and showing their teeth, getting the guns out, and being able to walk away the victors here. I mean, listen, that's a good match, regardless of whether it has any implications for playoffs or not. I mean, the Cell able to walk away with the win. You just got to give your hats off to them.
And that's why you don't number crunch. It's better that you don't know. Was that enough points, or was that enough of a round win differential for them to collapse? It's better if you don't know, because if you don't know, you can just enjoy what happens if you're a Cell fan, and then you can look forward to the next week as well. So honestly, hats off to them. It was hard fought. Franzj, they put up a good effort too. Honestly, in a game like this, especially considering how close it was and how long it was, obviously both teams, gave it their all. I think the explosive classes were extremely flashy, and the scouts pulled out all the stops to make insane plays to salvage when it was extremely necessary. And at the end of the day, though, the match has got to end sometime, and the Cell just barely take it away. 53 kills tying the top of the scoreboard from both the team scouts. One from Raven and one from Yum Yum.
Yeah, 53 kills is kind of insane. I mean, sure, it was an hour-long game, but 53 in 19 and 53 in 22 is insane stat lines. I don't care how long the game is. Absolutely absurd stuff coming out from both of those scouts. And like you said, a lot of that is kind of going for those salvage plays, maybe taking down the soldiers. But I mean, everyone had their moments of just kind of popping off. Just absolutely kind of going in, the salvage play, the playmaking plays, all of it. We kind of were treated to such a really great back and forth game. I mean, the mid fights as well were almost perfectly kind of back and forth. If one team won one, the other team would win the other. And so, I mean, it just shows you maybe how much better the Cell have been over the course of this season, how much they've improved, because, they lost this matchup the first time around. They've been able to walk away with the victory. They've been getting closer and closer against every single team that they've played, and it might pay off for them. But regardless, just really great stuff from them, really great stuff from Franzj as well. But it appears we have a man on the inside to divulge a little bit from what was going on there. Greg and Soar, thank you for joining us. And I mean, just first off, congrats on the win. How tense was it in that final round?
It was. I think the comms were a little bit hectic, but yeah, it was definitely intense. The match is so long. The one was.
Yeah, with a map like Sultry, I was kind of curious. It goes pretty long. I was kind of wondering why you guys ended up picking it out of what was remaining in the pool.
What was remaining?
Yeah, that's our map, bro. So the thing is, we can only play Process and Sultry. So
the process gets banned. You just pick Sultry. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, makes sense. Can you talk a little bit about the adapting that you guys needed to do on the mid fights? Because I noticed there was a lot of it from both teams, and you had to be really kept on your toes. So I was kind of curious how that was internally for you guys.
I think we went on the aggressive, right? Let's switch up.
Yeah, I was kind of like,
choke.
I was like taking inspiration from Patty and just sending it and hoping my team would win. And
yeah, someone's got to be the flashbang.
Yeah, we just went more aggressive on the mids with the double bombs and rolling out choke.
Did Did you know anything ahead of time, like expectations? Because even if this is your map, like you said, it's not necessarily one that's played a whole lot. So I don't know if you knew ahead of time, like how Franzj was really going to be playing it. If you knew like what you needed to do hard counters or things to watch out for. Was playing against them throughout the season enough to prepare you, or was there some things that you maybe didn't expect per se on a map like this coming from them?
Donovan Spy was expected, but he still got his. So that's good on him. And then a lot of sack plays from the team. So if they lose their medic, they would have a lot of off timing sacks. Good for that. They did go for a couple of them on mid too. We won the mid, so we were just setting up for that.
Since we do have Greg here, I know it obviously wasn't the change didn't happen immediately, but you did at some point swap back from roamer back to your the role you're used to of pocket. How, from your perspective, did that change overall in the team in terms of dynamic or your comfort or anything like that?
Yeah, like I'm just kind of a tater on roamer, and High Five's better than me, so he just took that over so we could get some motion on the flank, and I can just like waddle around, and I think it like worked out for us, I guess.
Does the comm style change at all, or you're just basically second roamer on the pocket with more beam and it doesn't affect it too much?
Yeah, I still am pretty silent, and High Five still talks a lot, so I think it's just probably a better composition for us.
I mean, obviously it worked out tonight, so.
Yeah.
All right. With it being entering the final week and everything unsure on how it's all gonna shake down, what's the mindset when you're in that situation for you guys? Like, how's your mental doing? What are you thinking about? What are you focusing on?
Do what we can and see how things plays out. Right? We just have to do what we can.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna like nuke the Dog Day Boy team, and that's gonna be a fun last game of the season, and we'll see what happens.
Yep.
It's a good way to think about it. Any questions or ideas and thoughts coming from UTC?
Is there like a because you guys were down what, like
1, I think.
Yeah. Was there like a moment where like it all came together, or was it just like a grind kind of the whole way?
Our team is known for having like really solid mental, so we're always positive vibes, and it was just a matter of time before we just turned it all around.
Facts.
All right. Second question: is that your cat in the background?
Yeah.
All right. Can we
Celebrating.
Yeah, they're celebrating for you. Can we get a cat name reveal live on stream?
Yeah, his name is Murphy.
All right. Shout outs to Murphy, but aside from that, that's all the questions from me.
Who's the MVP of the match? Who carried the torch? Who sealed the deal for you guys?
Probably like Soar, High Five, low key on the flank plays.
Raven went 50.
Oh yeah, true. And Raven, he's kind of the silent MVP.
Yeah, he just be killing.
Well, it was surely a team effort overall and multiple MVPs, honestly, because you guys popped off. This is a crazy match to watch, and can't wait to see what you guys are able to pull out later on if we get to see more of you. So fingers crossed, and congratulations on your victory. But we're probably going to reach the point where we start to head out for the night. Any final shout-outs or thoughts before we close out, starting with Greg?
Yeah, shout out Macron, shout out Math, shout out Slugmundo, shout out Dam, shout out Cookie Dough. Thank you.
What about you, Sora?
I'm gonna keep it simple too. Shout out to everyone in the world. Shout out to you guys for casting.
TC?
Shout outs to you guys for managing to pull it out. That was such a fantastic game to watch, and really glad to see you guys get the dub there. Raven, Soar, you guys, really great to see you guys flourishing in Invite. Shout outs to everyone watching. Shout outs to Jared for being an amazing co-caster. Shout outs to Dolphin for all the production work. Shout outs to the RGL merch. You can see it on screen. There's some really sick designs, so buy it for this series is kind of nearing the end. So if you want to get it now. Aside from that, that's going to be it for me.
Well, we are reaching the final hour of the regular season, but that does not mean the action stops. There's plenty of matches that you'll want to see. We have Froyo versus G6. We have G6 versus Jiminy. We have Jiminy versus Franzj, and all of it is going to shake out in a particular way to find out who is able to take what seed and who is going to be coming up short. So definitely do not want to stop watching TF2 now, because the train's going to keep rolling all the way till the first week of April, where we have our online weekend playoffs over Saturday and Sunday. So do not want to miss it if you can. However, for tonight, that'll be it from us. I've been Jarrett with TC Mono, with Dolphin on production. Thank you and good night.